Hey, all right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody had a good Christmas, celebrating with friends and family, and getting lots of good food. I know I did. It was a good time. Boxing Day today. I'm avoiding all the crowds. Hopefully you are too, and if you're not, hopefully you're eating some good deals out there. So, just wanted to come on and give a little update. I see Canada's men's national team is going to be playing against Guatemala. Just a friendly match coming up in LA at BMO Stadium. Um, this January 17th, 2026. Game's going to be at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm a little annoyed the game's being played in the U.S. It seems like every time Canada plays any Latin American team that isn't Mexico, it's just a dead crowd. There's not many people there. Like, why would you do that? It's just terrible. You want to have a good atmosphere. Now, I do realize the team's going to be doing a 10-day camp from the 8th to the 18th in Irving, California. And so that from that point, I understand why they're going to be playing in LA. It's right there. Um, I personally would prefer to get on a plane, play the match in BC Place. Just go up the coast. It's not that far. But who knows? Maybe BC Place is being renovated for the World Cup right now and it's just not available, or there's some other scheduling conflict. Having said that, I would almost rather just fly down to Guatemala, get a good crowd, play in a hostile environment. If the team can play good in a hostile environment, they can play well in a friendly environment when it comes to playing those Canada games in the World Cup. Anyhow, that's my little grievance with them playing down in California. So now let's just take a look at a couple stats here. Canada's record against Guatemala is 10 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses. That's all time. Canada is currently ranked 26th, whereas Guatemala is ranked 94th. So that's a huge difference there. You would expect Canada to win this game. Now, we all would have said that for the Gold Cup, but that was not the case. Jacob Schaffelberg got us that red card. Ended regulation time 1-1, lost in penalty 6-5, as we all remember. Canada had a really poor Gold Cup. Their performances, aside from the opening match against, I believe it was Honduras, other than that, they were just absolutely terrible. They were not the team we expected to be. I know a lot of people had picked them, not just Canadians. A lot of people had picked them to win that competition, or at least to make the finals, and they just couldn't do it. So yeah, this is their time to get a little revenge. It seems like Canada has a hard time when games really do matter. This one doesn't matter, so hopefully that means they're going to get a win. But at any rate, let's take a look at some of Guatemala's stats. In 2025, their record was three. I should say 8 wins, 3 draws, 5 losses in all competitions. That includes friendlies. Their last round of World Cup qualifying was 2 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss. Now, Guatemala's never actually qualified for a World Cup. They've come close before, and if they were going to do it, this was the year to do it. You got the expanded format. You've got Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. in the World Cup. That allowed for more spots for CONCACAF teams to make it, but unfortunately, Guatemala was just not able to do it. I should say I am Guatemalan. I was born there, but I grew up in Canada. I've been here since I was 6, so I do cheer for both teams, but I really only follow Canada. Guatemala, if I see them playing, it's like, oh, it'd be nice if they won, but Canada's my team. They're the team I really follow. I watch every game. I don't miss a single game, and I like to keep up to what they're doing. Keep up with what they're doing, I should say. So, and that's why I'm doing this channel, because I big fan of the team. So, anyhow, yeah, let's take a look at some of the matches that Guatemala had this year, just to kind of see what kind of competition they are. They started the year back in March. They won 2-1 against Honduras. That was just a friendly match, however. Then they had a Gold Cup qualifying match. They lost 3-2 to Guyana. Another Gold Cup qualifying match. They won 2-0 against Guyana. They followed that up in May with a 1-1 draw to El Salvador. Again, that was just a friendly match. And then we go to June. Now in June, they played 2 World Cup qualifiers and then some Gold Cup matches. The first World Cup qualifier, they won 4-2 against Dominican Republic, but then they lost 3-0 to Jamaica. They followed that up 6 days later in a CONCACAF Gold Cup match with a 1-0 win over Jamaica, a 1-0 loss to Panama, and then a 3-2 win over Guadeloupe. And then on June 29th, they beat Canada 6-5 on penalties after the match, as I said earlier, ended 1-1. That was the end of Canada's Gold Cup. Pretty disappointing performance by the team. We all expected much more. So I would expect they're going to want to get a little revenge here against Guatemala. Now, Guatemala went into July. Their final game of the Gold Cup, a 2-1 loss to the United States. In September, they had 2 World Cup qualifiers, a 1-0 loss to El Salvador. That one's got to hurt. El Salvador is not exactly a powerhouse, and that probably was the end of their World Cup qualifying for Guatemala. They got a 1-1 draw against Panama in October, 2 more World Cup qualifiers, 1-1 draw to Suriname, and a 1-0 win over El Salvador. So they were able to beat them that time, but as you'll see, it just simply wasn't enough. In November, they lost 3-2 to Panama, and they got a 3-1 win over Suriname. As I already mentioned, simply not enough for them to make the World Cup. So if you're a Guatemalan fan, you're just going to have to wait 4 more years, I guess. Yeah, it'd be nice to see them make it. As I said, I'm Guatemalan. They've never made it, but this just isn't their year, I guess. So now let's take a look at Canada's starting lineup. I'm going to expect that Jesse Marsch is going to go with his 2026 World Cup starting lineup. You're 6 months out. You want to get as much practice with the team as you can. Get the guys gelling. It'll be interesting because Alphonso Davies will be back now. He missed quite a bit of football, both for club and country. So, well, when it comes to goalkeepers, who do you think it's going to be? I'm going to say Dean St. Clair. He seems to be Jesse's guy there. He also did get MLS goalkeeper of the year, so it only makes sense to go Dean St. Clair. I'm perfectly comfortable with Crepeau as well. But I'm going to say we're going to see Dean St. Clair in net. On left back, this is where it gets interesting. That's normally where Alphonso Davies plays. But we saw that Richie Larea really stepped up. And quite frankly, I think he did a better job at left back for Canada than Alphonso Davies does. That's not a knock on Alphonso Davies. He's an international superstar. Richie Larea isn't. Davies plays for Bayern Munich. Richie plays for TFC. You know, apples and oranges here. But at the end of the day, I do think he did such a good job. He created so much havoc for the competition that I just don't see how you take him out. And I think we got to keep him there. And I think we are going to keep him there. I'm going to see this as a 4-4-2 formation. The two center backs, we're going to see Derek Cornelius. And then we're going to see, well, normally we'd have Moise Bombito. But as you guys know, he broke his leg. He's had surgery. He's going to be out a while. This is where we'd have Alfie Jones. A little more on that in a second. And then beside Alfie Jones, we would see Alistair Johnston. But again, he had an injury to his hamstring. He had surgery. So we're going to go with Nico Sigur there. Now, Alfie Jones apparently hurt himself. He was injured in a game earlier today. I don't know how bad it was. I haven't seen much of anything else online other than that he was subbed out like something like 17 minutes into the match. So hopefully it's nothing terrible. I'd like to see him in the next match. He was really good for us in that last game that we played against Venezuela. He was solid. He looked really good. You could tell that he's been playing a high level of football for a long time. Just really confident back there. And if I recall, he even stopped a goal from going in the net for us. So yeah, he was solid. Hopefully he's not injured long term here. If he is, I'll say we'll put Luc de Fougerolles in that position. And we would sub Waterman in for Cornelius off the bench, if it comes down to that. Now, if we go to the midfielders on the left side, this is where I'm going to say we're going to put Alphonso Davies. Who else would you put there? Schaffelberg or Hoylett to start? Nah, I don't see it. Now, the central midfielders, Ismael Kone and Stefano Stacchio. Again, you know, there's some guys that we could put in there, Saliba and Chouanier, but because we're going with the starting lineup, I do feel like Jesse Marsch is going to go starting lineup on this one. We're going to say Kone and Eustachio. Over on the right-hand side, Tejan Buchanan. You could put Ali Ahmed there. I'm a Whitecaps fan, and I like Ali Ahmed, but I do think Tejan Buchanan is just a better player. He's got more of that scoring touch. It'd be nice to see Ali Ahmed get a little more of that into his game. So I would expect to see that from him in the next few years. I do think he's going to get moved to Europe sometime after the World Cup. That seems to be the rumor. So anyhow, but for now, we're going to go Tejan Buchanan. Now the two strikers, Oluwaseyi and Jonathan David. I think that's what we're going to go with. Personally, I'd rather see Promise David up there. The last few games of the year, Oluwaseyi just couldn't put the ball in the net. We had games we could have won, but the ball's going left, it's going right, it's going over the net, it's going at the goalkeeper, anything but in the net. I felt like I'd had enough. And personally, I do think Promise David has more of a scoring touch. But again, because I do think that Jesse Marsch is going to go with the starting lineup for the World Cup, I think that's who we're going to see up there. So anyhow, what do you guys think? Who's going to be in the starting lineup for this match? How do you think it's going to go? Are we going to get a win? Are we going to get a loss? Are we going to get a draw? Let me know down below. If you like this video, please like, subscribe. It helps me out. I'm just starting out, so this is my second video. So anyways, we'll see you guys in the next one.